Hello guys and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to explain you a little bit more about the details and how the web applications works. So normally the web applications works with these three guides here: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'm going to explain you with more detail about each of these guys and how the web communicates to them in order for you to see a browser, to see a system, to see a website, or to see an e-commerce. All of these guys that you can access and click and see and handle inside of web browsers, your favorite websites such as YouTube or Spotify or Gmail or everything else. These guys are all structured with these three bases here, that is the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. This is the core base of the web primarily, right? Let's begin. Let's start with the HTML. The first thing that you need to understand is that HTML, it is not a programming language. So HTML means hypertext markdown language, and HTML is a markdown language used to create documents that the browsers can read, right? This is the main format for the browsers. In order for browsers to read your files or every web page or everything else, they only can read this type of document, right? You see, when you open a PDF, it does not open as a website. It just open as another window in a different size from a website, because this is a PDF. This is not a HTML. HTML is another type of file, a markdown file. So HTML is a markdown file used to create documents for websites so the browser can read and show these information for you. So every website that you access, you will see that this was created using HTML. You can use preprocessors, you can use libraries, programming languages, everything else, but in the core, it uses HTML. CSS means cascading style sheets. This guy here is the main responsible for all of the style, all of the animation, the background colors, the border radius, the over effects, the animations, the menu that pops in your screen, the hamburger menus, and everything that you see that is related to color, to changes, to animations, and all these types of things, they are created using CSS, right? So this is created using CSS, that is cascading style sheets. So all the styles, the pretty bar, the colors, the borders, the background, the animations, this is what CSS does to a website. And as the name says, it is a cascading style sheets. So it works as a cascade from the first line of code to the last line of code. The ones that will prevail is the last line of code. It will override the first ones if you repeat the same property. But you will understand more about that when we start to learn about CSS. For last but not least, the JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language. Different from HTML, JavaScript is a programming language, right? So JavaScript is a programming language and it does the action of the web. Let's say that you click on a button and you do login and change to another screen and you see other informations. This thing all happens through JavaScript. If you only use HTML, CSS, you won't have any actions. You will have only animations on the screen, colors changing, backgrounds changing, animations, but you won't see changes of pages probably. You won't see click loaders, buffers, you won't see action really happens in the website, because there will not be programming language if you do not do that. But if you are using JavaScript, JavaScript is a programming language and it will add all the action to the web. So all the action that you see when you create a user, or you log in with Google, or you register with Google, or when you create your user, or when you do a payment, when you receive a payment and you see a loading screen, when you see a buffer, all of these things is creating probably using JavaScript, right? JavaScript or TypeScript. TypeScript's a different type of JavaScript, but it's also JavaScript. So I picked this image here just in order for you to understand how this guy works. This entity here from the web. So we have the HTML. The HTML is the skeleton. We have CSS. CSS is the skin. And we have JavaScript. JavaScript is the brain, the nerves, the veins, and everything else, right? HTML is just the skeleton. Nobody will survive only with the skeleton, right? CSS is the skin, is the beauty, is the hair, is the clothes, is the shoes, right? JavaScript is the brain, is what makes everything works. If you only have CSS and HTML, it will only be a skeleton with clothes and a hair and will do nothing, right? If you have your brain, you can do everything. JavaScript is what does that, right? So this is the training of the web, everything on web. Probably use these guys here. Yeah, I will show you a quick example here just to end this lesson. We go to GitHub page here. If I click with the right button and go to inspect, or if I click F12, I will see the dev tools. If I go inside our dev tools here in elements, this is what I will see. Doc type HTML, as I told you before. And if I pass my mouse over here, HTML, you'll see that all of the screen was done with the HTML, right? From the bottom to the top. All this HTML. Of course, you have CSS here. As you can see, this is CSS. This is the styles that was applied to this guy. All of this web page was created with HTML. Doc type, the type of the document is HTML, all right? I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.